Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be taking a revision for what we have covered in quarter one. Our first lesson was needs. We have four needs. Number one is water. We need water. We drink water every day, so we need water. Number two is food. Food. We eat food every day, so we need food. Number three is clothing. Clothing. We have to wear clothes at all times. We have to wear clothes at all times, so we need clothing. Number four is a shelter. A shelter. We need to live in a shelter to protect ourselves, so we need a shelter. So we have four needs. And now we're going to be taking wants. What is wants? Wants are things I would like to have. I don't need it, but I would like to have it. Like what? Like toys. I don't need toys every day, but I want to have it. Like a football, or like a bicycle, or like colors, or like a scooter, or like hat. We don't need this stuff, but I want to have it. I don't need it every day. I just want to have it for one day maybe or another day, but I don't need it every day. These are called wants. And now if we're going to solve the social revision, in the first one, the answer is four needs. How many needs do we have? Four needs. And now in the second question, circle the needs. What are our four needs? Food, shelter, clothing, and water. We don't need a car as a need, and we don't need toys. In the second page of the revision, you need to draw something that you want. You can draw a doll, you can draw a football, a bicycle, whatever you want, you can draw. You can draw more than one thing. Just draw whatever you want. And now our second lesson is about goods. Goods. What are goods? Goods are a different word from good. It's not like a good girl or a good boy. This is a different word. It's called goods. What is goods? Goods are things we can buy. Things we can buy and use. Goods are like stuff we can buy from the candy store. If I go to a candy store and I can buy candy with money, it's called goods. Goods are also available in a toy store. I can buy goods from the toy store. Any toys I can buy from the toy store is called goods. I can also go to the bookstore and buy books, or a library and buy books. These things that I can buy is called goods. I can also go to a shoe store and buy shoes. Then it will be called goods. Anything I can buy with money, it's called goods. We can buy goods with money. You need money to buy goods. What else can we learn here is services. Services. What are services? Services are like jobs people do to help others. Jobs people do to help others, like doctors. Doctors help patients or sick people to feel better. Our second services is teachers. Teachers. Teachers help students learn. So a teacher is providing a service. So teachers are services. Next, we have taxi drivers. Taxi driver help people to reach their destination. So they are providing a service. That's why they are services. Taxi driver is services. So goods are things like a toy store. When we buy toys, it's called goods. And services are things like a taxi driver because it's providing help to other people. It's called services. And now let's solve this revision sheet. Our first picture is candy. Can we buy candy with money? Yes. Anything we can buy with money is called goods. Correct. Our second picture is a teacher. A teacher. Can we buy a teacher with money? Or does a teacher provide a service and help students to learn? Correct. It provides a service. So it's services. Our third picture is taxi driver. Can we buy a taxi driver with money, or does a taxi driver provide service? Correct, it's a service. Services. Next we have a shoe. Do we buy shoes with money? Yes, so it's goods. Next we have a doll. A doll, it's a toy. Do we buy a toy with money? Yes, so it's goods. Next we have a doctor. A doctor, do we buy a doctor with money, or does a doctor help sick people? So it's a service. Services. Good job. Our next lesson is, why do people work? People work so they can get money, so they can buy different things. People have different jobs. What are the jobs there? First, you can be a teacher. That's a job. A teacher. Next job is a doctor. You can work as a doctor. Or as a baker. A baker. A baker is someone who makes bread. Or as a policeman. You can work as a policeman. A policeman is a person who catches criminals and bad people. Or you can work as a constructor. A constructor is a person who builds things or fixes things. Or you can work as a farmer. Farmer is also a job. A farmer is someone who grows fruits and vegetables and take care of animals. Let's match the following. The first word says teacher. Teacher. We match it to the teacher picture. Next word says policeman. A policeman. We match it to the policeman. And then third word says constructor. We match it to the constructor. We turn the page to the next page. First word says doctor. Doctor. We match it to the doctor. Second page says farmer. Farmer. We match it to the farmer. And third word says baker. We match it to the baker. Our last lesson we took this quarter is health and safety at home. Health and safety at home. Things you should do to protect yourself at home is, number 1, stay away from electricity. You need to stay away from electricity. Why? Because you will get electrocuted. You need to be careful and stay away from electricity so you don't get electrocuted. Things you should do to protect yourself at home, number 2. Keep the floor clean and dry. You need to keep the floor dry and not wet so you don't slip and fall. You might slip and fall if you keep the floor wet. So you need to dry the floor if it's wet. Number 3 is play with the ball outside the house. If you're gonna play with the ball or anything that flies around, you need to play outside the house. Why? Because you can break something in the house. You can break a window that's made of glass, or anything that's made of glass inside the house can be breakable. So you need to play with the ball outside the house. Things that you should not do to protect yourself at home. Number 1, you should not open the door to strangers. You should not open the door to people who you don't know. Strangers are people that you don't know. So, why you don't do this? Because strangers might be bad people. You don't know that. So don't open the door to strangers and let your parents open the door instead. Number 2, you should not jump on the bed. You should not jump on the bed. Why? Because you might fall and hurt yourself. You might fall and hurt yourself. Number 3 is you should not play with sharp objects. You should not play with sharp objects. Why? Because you might cut yourself and get hurt. Playing with sharp objects that you should not touch is very dangerous. So like big scissors and big knives. Don't play with knives or scissors or any sharp objects so you don't get hurt. And now let's solve this worksheet. In the revision sheet, the last page in the revision sheet. First picture says playing inside the house. Is that safe or unsafe? Unsafe, correct. Second picture says to keep the floor dry. Is that safe or unsafe? That's safe, correct. Third picture says brushing my teeth. Is that safe or unsafe? That's safe, correct. Open the door to strangers. Is that safe or unsafe? That's unsafe, correct. Studying. Is studying safe or unsafe? That's safe, correct. Playing with sharp objects. Is that safe or unsafe? That's unsafe, correct. Thank you.